G'day folks, thanks for joining and welcome to my honest review of the 2025, technically 24, CFMOTO U10 Pro Edition, which is the Australian model. Now, I'm not a YouTuber or a professional reviewer or anything, so don't expect any fancy edits or background music, but this is just my perspective as an owner of owning this for about 6 days now. If you're comparing the U10 Pro to the Uforce 1000, stick around and I'll cover why I chose this model, some of the pros and cons, and my first impressions after doing about 45 kilometres out in the paddocks and getting it real dirty, real muddy and real wet. The reason I chose the U10 Pro over the Uforce 1000, in Australia, the Uforce 1000 is about $17,500 with a farmer special, but the problem is there's no winch on it. Every other CFMOTO model, C-Force or whatever it is in Australia, comes with a winch except for that one. So by the time you look at adding up the winch and a few extra bar work, bits and pieces, you're looking at about $20,000, which in Australia here is the equivalent of the Hunt Edition. Now in Australia, the Hunt Edition comes with the doors, comes with the bar work, comes with the camo, which really doesn't impress me all that much, the camo. I'm not too much of a fan of it, but each to their own. But for an extra couple $1,000, the U10 Pro gives me much more. It's a bigger unit, it's a more powerful engine, higher torque, boasts a bigger payload and towing capacity, has a higher ground clearance, which is something that's really essential for navigating around the property where I am, because there is a lot of wetlands down the back and it does get quite flooded, and this bad boy has managed to tackle everything at this point in time. So after doing about 45 kilometres in this thing, some of the things I don't like about it, I'll kind of show you. One of the things is where the exhaust is. If you lean up against that back tailgate and put your leg against the exhaust, you're really going to look at potentially burning yourself. Hopefully most people are smart enough not to do that. Or alternatively, I'll be looking at getting like a bar or something put on the back there. Now down here, there is a grease nipple. It's a bit hard to see. There you go, in there. Now when I picked it up from the dealer, they said to wrap it up around there, that's how they do it, and be careful because of the grease nipple there. But I've since discovered that up here, there is a little tie-down hook. So that should obviously make life a whole lot easier for most people, including myself next time I'll be towing this thing. One of the other things I sort of disagree with or don't really like, and it could just be me, but anyway, I haven't really worked it out yet, it is when you're in the cabin and you're driving along, you can't really see that engine temperature gauge whilst your Apple CarPlay and things like that is connected. So alternatively, you've got to press this little CFMOTO button down here, hold it down, which then changes it to the screen where you can actually see the engine temperature down in the bottom right corner. What I've also found is after use of this thing, the screen, the very top of this does get quite warm. So just be mindful of that. And I'm a bit hesitant about how easy the screen may scratch over time. So I will be looking at getting some sort of glass screen protector for it. I think that's the ultimate thing. One of the other issues I've had with this system so far is just setting the time. It seems to be out of whack by about 2 hours. Not sure why, but it just is. I'll do another little video on that at some point and just sort of the infographics and that. It's quite interesting actually. One of the other things I think about this is the speakers. Now, they're not the greatest quality. Yeah, they work, but they could be a bit better, I reckon, but they're alright. They do the trick. The seat coverings. Now, I just love the seat coverings. This is half the reason I brought this particular model, is because of the seat coverings, but what I'm disappointed about, it's very, very thin material. You can almost see how. So I'm a bit concerned about the longevity of that and how that may last, but if I have to look at seat covers, it's going to disappoint me because I really like the seats. One of the other things on here, when I picked it up from the dealer, it did have a little bit of damage on it, as you can see. It's a bit hard to see, but it's a bit of scuffing there. So what's actually happened is the dealer said that they're shipping them in the same boxes that they're shipping the CF1000, CFMOTO Uforce 1000s in. And CFMOTO quickly discovered that that's not necessarily going to work for them. So This has all been replaced under warranty anyway, so it's absolutely no issues to me. And I credit them for being upfront. It's already been sorted. It's just really a case that I didn't want to wait for them to fix it, and I wanted this to take away and do what I'm doing with it. So ultimately, that's all getting replaced at the very first service, and very happy to say that everything's been taken care of, and the guys down at CFMOTO Springwood, Jesse, Bruce, the team, have really looked after me when it comes to this particular vehicle. Now, one of the problems as well, compared to the Uforce 1000, there really isn't a lot of storage in here. You've got this little compartment here, you've got one over there, but I don't know if anyone makes like a center console or like similar size to one of those center fridges. Anyone knows, let me know, but I think that's ultimately what I need or want. Obviously the tipping tray is fantastic, really big fan of that. The fact that it just tips itself up a few seconds. As you can see there, it is pretty dirty down in there at the moment, a bit filthy. But for the most part, most of it's pretty protected. And most of the mud actually stays within this area here. It doesn't really come too much into the engine bay compared to other stuff I've seen. My only regret at this point is not spending the extra money to buy the Highlander, because after how filthy it's getting, the Highlander would have just been nice. And obviously driving at night and stuff and going through cobwebs, it kind of goes in the cabin. So we'll have to look at getting some sort of a snorkel kit on it, as well as a windscreen. But the rest of it is pretty A-OK. She's working well. 45 K's in, 6 days old, and loving it. One of the other things I enjoy, you've obviously got the key fob and things like that, which simply slides in. Everything's electronic in this. Basically, I don't actually need the key fob as long as I've got my phone in the application and it connects via the Bluetooth. I can use my phone as the fob, which is quite handy if anything was to ever happen. But anyway, we'll start heading.